So your toilet is either leaking, wobbling, cracked, or maybe you're just upgrading to something newer and more efficient. Either way, you're wondering if installing a brand new toilet is something you can actually handle yourself, or if you need to shell out a few $100 for a plumber. Good news! I'm going to walk you through the entire installation from start to finish, step by step, so you get a rock-solid, leak-free toilet that works exactly the way it should. And if you stick around to the end, I'll share a pro trick I use on every single install that virtually guarantees you'll never get a leak at the base. Let's get into it. Installing a toilet is honestly one of the most satisfying DIY plumbing jobs you can take on. It sounds like a big deal, but once you understand how all the pieces come together, it's really pretty straightforward. And the best part is, once you know how to do this, you'll never pay someone else to do it again. So let's start by making sure you've got everything you need before we touch a single bolt. Before you do anything, let's talk tools and materials. For tools, you're going to want an adjustable wrench, a pair of channel lock pliers, a putty knife or scraper, a mini hacksaw, a level, and a pair of rubber gloves. Trust me on the gloves. You'll also want some old towels and a small bucket or a large sponge. For materials, you'll need your new toilet, obviously, a new wax ring, and I personally prefer the extra thick wax ring with the built-in plastic flange because it gives you a much better seal. You're also going to need a new set of closet bolts, sometimes called Johnny bolts. Even if the old ones look fine, just replace them. They're a couple bucks and it's not worth the risk. You'll need a new braided stainless steel supply line. Don't reuse the old one. A new supply line runs you maybe $5 to $8 and it eliminates one of the most common sources of leaks. And grab a tube of silicone caulk. We'll talk about that more at the end. Got everything? Good. Let's start the real work. First things first, you need to shut off the water. Look behind your toilet near the wall and you'll see a small shut-off valve. Turn it clockwise until it stops. Now flush the toilet and hold the handle down to drain as much water as possible from the tank. You're going to have some water left in the tank and in the bowl. So grab that sponge or some old towels and soak up whatever's left. Don't skip this step. If you leave water in there, it's going to end up on your floor when you pull the toilet. Next, disconnect the supply line from the bottom of the tank using your adjustable wrench or channel locks. Have your bucket ready because a little water is going to come out. Now look at the base of the toilet. You'll see two caps on either side covering the closet bolts. Pop those caps off, then use your wrench to remove the nuts. If they're rusted on and won't budge, this is where your mini hacksaw comes in. Just cut right through the bolt below the nut. Don't force a rusted nut because you can crack the toilet or damage the flange. With the bolts removed, rock the toilet gently side to side to break the wax seal, then lift straight up. Toilets are heavy, usually around 50 to 60 pounds for a one-piece. So lift with your legs and have a spot ready to set it down on some old towels or cardboard. Now here's a step a lot of people rush through, and it's the one that causes the most problems down the road. With the old toilet out of the way, you need to inspect that closet flange. That's the round fitting that sits on top of your drain pipe and anchors the toilet to the floor. First, stuff a rag into the drain opening so you don't lose any hardware down there, and so sewer gas doesn't fill your bathroom. Now scrape off all the old wax from the flange and the floor around it using your putty knife. Get it clean. Take a good look at the flange itself. Is it cracked? Are the bolt slots broken? Is it sitting flush with the finished floor, or is it recessed below it? Ideally, the top of the flange should sit right on top of the finished floor or just slightly above it. If the flange is sitting below the floor surface, you're going to want to use an extra thick wax ring or even stack 2 wax rings to make up that gap. If the flange is cracked or the bolt slots are damaged, you can pick up a flange repair ring at any hardware store for about $10. It bolts right on top of the old flange and gives you fresh slots for your new bolts. Take your time here. A solid flange connection is the foundation of a leak-free install. By the way, if you are finding this helpful, you should know this is just a taste of what I have put into my book, 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes That Will Save You $10,000. It covers everything from leaky faucets to running toilets, step by step with diagrams. You can grab your copy by scanning the QR code on screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let us keep going. Now we're getting to the good part. Slide your new closet bolts into the flange slots and make sure they're centered on either side, perfectly parallel with the wall behind the toilet. Some bolts come with little plastic washers that help hold them upright, and I highly recommend using those because it makes setting the toilet so much easier. Now take your wax ring and press it onto the bottom of the toilet, centered right over the horn, which is that round opening on the underside of the bowl. I always put the wax ring on the toilet rather than on the flange. The reason is simple. When you set the toilet down, the wax compresses evenly around the horn and seats right into the flange. If you put it on the flange first, you're kind of guessing as you lower the toilet, and it's easy to shift the ring off center. Make sure the plastic funnel side of the wax ring, if yours has one, is pointing away from the toilet and down toward the drain. Now here's the critical moment. Pull that rag out of the drain pipe, then lift the toilet and carefully position it directly over the closet bolts. You want to line up the holes in the base with the bolts. Look straight down through the holes and lower it slowly. Once the bolts poke through, press the toilet down firmly with even pressure. Sit on it. Seriously. Your body weight helps compress the wax ring evenly, and that's exactly what you want. Give a gentle rock to make sure it feels solid and level. Do not lift the toilet back up once it touches the wax. If you pick it up, you've broken the seal and you'll need a new wax ring. One shot. That's all you get. With the toilet sitting on the wax ring and the bolts poking up through the base, it's time to secure everything. Slide on the plastic washers first, then the metal washers, and then thread on the nuts. Here's where a lot of people go wrong. They crank those nuts down way too tight, thinking tighter means no leaks. That's not how it works. The wax ring creates the seal, not the bolts. The bolts just hold the toilet in place. So tighten each nut a little at a time, alternating side to side, and stop when the toilet feels snug and doesn't rock at all. If you over-tighten, you will crack the porcelain base, and now you're buying another toilet. Use your level across the top of the bowl from side to side and front to back. If it's not quite level, you can use plastic toilet shims under the base to even things out. Once it's level and snug, use your hacksaw to trim the excess bolt length so the decorative caps fit over them. Snap those caps on and the base is done. Now let's get the tank mounted. If you bought a two-piece toilet, the tank and bowl come separate. Flip the tank over carefully and install the rubber spud washer onto the large flush valve opening on the bottom of the tank, if it's not already in place. The flat side of the washer goes against the tank and the tapered side faces down. Set the tank right side up onto the back of the bowl, lining up the tank bolt holes with the holes on the bowl. Drop the tank bolts through from inside the tank with their rubber washers already on them. Underneath the bowl, add the metal washers and nuts. Same rule as before. Alternate sides and tighten gradually. You want the tank to sit level and snug against the bowl with no rocking. If you tighten one side too much, the tank will sit crooked and could crack. Hand tight, plus about a quarter turn with your wrench is usually all it takes. Give the tank a gentle wiggle. It should feel solid with no movement. All right, the moment of truth. Take your new braided stainless steel supply line and connect one end to the fill valve underneath the tank. Hand tighten it first, then give it about a quarter turn with your wrench. Don't go crazy. These connections seal with a rubber washer inside the coupling, and over-tightening can actually deform the washer and cause a leak. Connect the other end to the shutoff valve the same way. Now slowly turn the shutoff valve counterclockwise to let water back in. Let the tank fill up completely. While it's filling, get down on the floor with a flashlight and check every single connection point. Check where the supply line meets the tank. Check where the supply line meets the shutoff valve. Check around the base of the toilet where it meets the floor. Check the tank-to-bowl connection. Look for any drips, any moisture, anything at all. Flush the toilet 2 or 3 times and check all those same spots again after each flush. Pay close attention to the base during and right after flushing, because that's when a failed wax ring seal will show itself. If everything is dry, congratulations, you've got a properly installed toilet. Let's go over some issues you might run into and how to deal with them. First up, water leaking from the base after flushing. This means the wax ring didn't seal properly. Unfortunately, the only fix is to pull the toilet, replace the wax ring with a new one, and reset it. Remember, you only get one shot with a wax ring. If it's shifted during install, it's compromised. Next, water dripping from the supply line connection. 9 times out of 10, this is either over-tightened or under-tightened. Back the nut off and retighten to hand tight plus a quarter turn. If it still drips, check that the rubber washer inside the coupling isn't pinched or missing. Third, the toilet rocks even after tightening the bolts. This means your floor isn't perfectly level. Use plastic shims, slide them under the base at the low spots, then trim the excess with a utility knife. Don't over-tighten the bolts to compensate for rocking, because you'll crack the base. Fourth, the tank keeps running after flushing. This is usually the fill valve or the flapper inside the tank, not anything related to your installation. Adjust the float height on the fill valve so the water level sits about 1 inch below the top of the overflow tube. If that doesn't fix it, the flapper might not be seating properly. Make sure the chain has just a tiny bit of slack, about 1/2 inch. Fifth, a slow leak between the tank and bowl. Check that the spud washer is properly seated and that the tank bolts are evenly tightened. If one side is tighter, the tank tilts slightly and the seal breaks. Loosen both bolts and start the tightening sequence over, alternating sides evenly. Follow the steps we covered, and you should avoid most of these headaches entirely. All right, here's that bonus tip I promised. Once your toilet is fully installed and you've confirmed there are no leaks, run a thin bead of silicone caulk around the base of the toilet where it meets the floor. Now I know some people say you shouldn't caulk the base because if the wax ring fails, you won't see the leak. And I understand that argument. But here's the thing. Most plumbing codes actually require caulking the base. And from 35 years of experience, a properly set wax ring isn't going to fail unless something shifts. What caulking does is prevent water from mopping or shower splash from getting under the toilet, where it can breed mold and bacteria and eventually rot your subfloor. I've pulled toilets that weren't caulked, and the smell alone will convince you. Use 100% silicone, not latex caulk. Run a smooth bead all the way around, but leave about a 2-inch gap at the very back. That little gap acts as a safety indicator. If the wax ring ever does fail, water will escape through that gap, and you'll catch it early. Best of both worlds. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams, all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching.